Hari Om Tat Sat. Today is 9 July 2024. Last 2 days I was little uncomfortable. You know, ever since I heard my mentor, Dr. Ashok Vaidya, was admitted in hospital, and this time even blood transfusion was not possible. So it was obvious what is going to happen. And today morning I got a news that he's no more. While we say he's no more, he will remain in our hearts, in our minds, in our prayers all the time because he has shaped our lives. I can't even tell you when I must have met him. Physically, probably we met sometime during my stay at Hafkin Institute when I was doing my PhD. He didn't tell me that time, but he spotted me, and since then, he was mentoring me. We came more closer when the Nimitli team was formed and he was leading the CSI's New Millennium Indian Technology Leadership Initiative. But this story doesn't go according to him only in this life. Our relationships are far beyond that. And he used to say he remembers his past lives. Today, modern scientists may not agree with this, but there are many things in science which we can't explain, which we don't understand today. But that doesn't mean that they don't exist. Dr. Ashok Vaidya was one such person who tried to explore the unexplored path. Dr. Ashok Vaidya, eminent clinical pharmacologist, rather pioneer in drug discovery based on Ayurveda, Ayurveda inspired drug discovery, what he named it as reverse pharmacology, guided us for several years. And not till his, I would say, last days, continued to guide us. Sometime just a week, 2 weeks before, me and Girish both traveled to meet him. At that time he was at home after blood transfusion. He was feeling weak, and the kind of satsang we had with him and Ramaben was unforgettable. It was such a blessed day for us. And you wouldn't find a person, and I could see him. He was suffering, but he was detached from his sufferings. He was completely detached from his body, which was suffering. This is again very difficult to understand or feel for those who may not have got experiences in such matters. I also had no such experience. Dr. Vaidya's MD thesis. Now remember his MD from a top medical college at that time. He decided to do on Bhrugu Samhita. And our last satsang with him was on his MD thesis, which was rejected at that time, just because he decided to work on Bhrugu Samhita and not on some routine subjects of MD dissertations which are related to pharmacology or modern sciences. But he did not deter that time. Probably this was destined that he met Dr. Rama Mehta, that Vaidya. And I must tell you that this couple, you know, made in heaven, continued, and I'm sure it still continues. Dr. Vaidya may not be uh, here in his body, but he will remain with us, as I told you, and in form of Dr. Rama, he is there with us. Because I don't differentiate between these two bodies. They were one. Dr. Rama and Dr. Ashok, they were one, and they will remain one. I was surprised, that day when we met him. He was on bed, very frail, very feeling weak. But at that stage, practically during the last few days, which he knew as a medical doctor, he knew what was the fate. It doesn't deter him for planning new projects. So he discussed with us a new project and how we can really get involved in that. He gave us deep insights in history, in Bharatiya Nyan Parampara. And also he uh, recited, and that is something amazing. Uh, and he used to tell us, and even Rama Vaidya also tells us that both of them were inspired right from their real days, where they met and where actually Rama Vaidya found Dr. Ashok Vaidya as life partner. Both of them were inspired by great poet and saint Makran Bhai Dabai. And that day we recited Makran Dave's poems, bhajans. And that was a day which we spent with him. We had a good meal with him. And Girish and I both felt that our decision to immediately travel from Pune to meet him was really uh, destined, and it was worth doing that. I today would not speak much about the scholarship of Dr. Vaidya, but as a spiritual, enlightened person, I would say, all of us know that what are the basic purposes of our life. I would say that uh, getting, or rather trying to be enriched in our own experiences so that we could do something good for the people, bringing new knowledge. And the true purpose ultimately for individual is enlightenment. And finally, what uh, we call as liberation, moksha, nirvana, kaivalya, whatever you might like to call. In case of Dr. Ashok Vaidya, I can tell you that he already had enlightenment. He was an enlightened soul, and he will, he is, he has been attaining moksha, which is the supreme purpose of human life. His life was very, very fruitful, meaningful. He shaped hundreds and thousands of young minds. He created spark, which he saw getting dismantled in his own. And I still remember seeing both of them that day, when spark was being destroyed by those who are interested only in money. they actually snatched away that creation from both of them. And they were almost in a similar situation when we met them 2 weeks ago in Mumbai. And they were worried about the future of research center, Kasturba Health Society's medical research center. Whatever that center's fate may be, uh, will be destined. But one thing is sure, that that center virtually, including Spark, even continues today, along with all of us, all his students, and Dr. Rama Vaidya, Rama Ashok Vaidya, will continue to inspire us. His legacy, one thing we used to always feel that his contributions were not really recognized by the academic and research fraternity. Medical director of Siba Gaigi, if he would have continued in industry, he would have been a billionaire. But he left all that and gave his life for innovating and for enriching our own knowledge systems further. And that was a mission which Dr. Rama will continue. So he could not become Padma Shri or Padma Bhushan or Padma Vibhushan, which he richly deserved. Or even he could not become Fellow of National Academies, which he much more deserved. But I was happy that TDU Bangalore bestowed Doctor of Science, Doctor of Literature on him just last year. And he was so happy. And he said, this honor is not for me. This honor is for my institution. This honor is for my students. And this honor is for the entire knowledge base which we have built, be it reverse pharmacology or systems biology or pharmacoepidemiology and several other innovative fields which started with his rejected thesis on Bhrugu Samhita. But at the same time, all of us were extremely proud and happy that although deserving, he could not get those accolades, his daughter, Vidita, excelled beyond all his expectations. So Vidita reached to the epitome of science, and he was so proud of her, obviously. Vidita, I hope that some time of yours, I know that you are in the stage of your career where the science core will continue to attract you. But the real innovations which Ashok Bhai has taught us will come from these knowledge streams. You already have started working on that, and you worked on turmeric, and you have shown wonderful activities, and your papers have been amazingly well drafted. You have tremendous articulation skills. You bring best from both of them. So now we have more expectations from you to lead this field and to take this Ayurveda inspired research to the next level in an orbit change where Dr. Vaidya also will help us. Dr. Rama, Dr. Ashok Vaidya, I would not say that this is a kind of a condolence message for him, because I trust that he will continue to be with us. May not be bodily, but in spirits. I Om Namash Hari Om Tat Sat Om Shanti.